PeopleTools 8.57 introduces the Personal Analytic Notifications feature, enabling applications to interact with you. The system tells you what needs your attention. This feature uses pivot grid thresholds to define boundaries. If the boundaries are exceeded, a notification is sent and users can respond accordingly. You can personalize thresholds in the Pivot Grid viewer if the threshold options and allow user additions checkboxes are selected. The options are available in the Pivot Grid wizard on the Select Data Model Options page, Display Options section. As an administrator, you'll need to set the frequency with which criteria is searched to generate specifications. That is done on the Notification Frequency tab on the Pivot Grid Administration page. To personalize a threshold, access the threshold options from the Options menu. Change the fields as necessary and click Apply. Select Save from the Options menu. Notice that the process sends a consolidated notification based on the violations. One message is delivered for all the violations for a fact on a model. Click the Alert notification to open the model. This completes our demonstration of the Personal Analytic Notifications feature. PeopleTools 8.57 introduces drop zones. Configurable drop zones allow you to add new fields that are displayed and processed on delivered fluid pages without customizing the component or fluid page definition. Typically, PeopleSoft application teams have identified which delivered fluid pages can be extended by customers and have already added one or more configurable drop zones on these fluid pages. For this demo, we've added 2 drop zones to the address subpage. Note that drop zones can also be added to subpages of the main fluid page. Each drop zone contains the PT-ERC subpage stub, which will be dynamically replaced at runtime. As a customer, your first step is to create fluid subpage definitions to be dynamically inserted as replacements for the subpage stub. For this demo, we've already created a simple fluid subpage consisting of static text and a display-only employee ID field. Next, you'll associate your fluid subpage to a drop zone. Navigate to the Configure Drop Zones page. Click Search without entering any search criteria to display a list of all available components with drop zones. Now configure your dynamic subpage to the Addresses component, which is first in the search results. Remember that there were 2 drop zones available on the Addresses subpage. Each drop zone is identified by the label on its group box. Add your dynamic subpage to the bottom drop zone. Save your configuration. Now let's view how our subpage is dynamically inserted at runtime. The Personal Details tile is available on the Employee Self-Service homepage. Select the Personal Details tile to access the Addresses component. Notice that the subpage is displayed just as if it were part of the main page definition. There is no delineation between the fields from the delivered fluid page and the subpage. More importantly, the records and fields defined on the subpage have been loaded into the component buffer along with records and fields from the main page definition. By configuring a drop zone, we have added new fields available on the page without customizing the component or fluid page definition. These changes are not impacted by PeopleSoft upgrades and do not appear in a change report. This completes our demonstration of the Drop Zones feature. PeopleTools 8.57 Analytics includes enhancements to performance, chart series drilling, runtime prompts, and adding analytics to the nav bar and dashboard. PeopleSoft Pivot Grids and Analytics features include multiple enhancements to improve performance. Previously, it took some time to load a large number of facets in the left pane of a pivot grid view. Now you can limit the number of facets that are initially loaded, making the page load faster. Remaining facet values are loaded incrementally when you click the More link. The configurations are available under Fluid Mode Options on the Specify Data Model Options page of the Pivot Grid wizard. Use the Facet Count dropdown to select the incremental number of facet values that will load at a time. You can even choose to keep the facets expanded or collapsed when the model loads. Select the High Detailed View checkbox to help chart models load faster. This option defers loading the detailed view of a chart. Additional enhancements improve the time it takes to attach multiple trees and deep trees for pivot grid dimensions. Now pivot grid models with trees that have more than 1,000 leaves load faster. With chart series drilling, now you can drill down to a fact in the selected x-axis and a series in a pivot grid model. Before, you could only drill down to a fact in the series. Here, the regional distribution model shows regions on its x-axis. The model also has months as a series for each region. Right-click a month data point for a region on the chart. You'll see the new option, Drill Down Intersection To. Select this option to display the unit cost of each product in the region for that specific month. PeopleSoft Simplified Analytics enables editable prompt fields at runtime. You can modify the prompt values to gain insight from current context for better business decisions. From the Analytics wizard, choose which prompt fields to make editable using the Choose Editable Fields section. You can add an analytic to a fluid dashboard, a home page, or the nav bar from the Add To dropdown. The option appears when you save an analytic in the Analytics wizard. In earlier PeopleTools versions, you could only add the analytic to the tile repository. Now you're prompted to select from a list that includes a dashboard, home page, or the nav bar. This completes our discussion of analytics enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Search Framework includes enhancements to Multi-Facet Select and support for Elasticsearch 6.1.2 and delivery and support for Kibana. PeopleTools 8.57 enables you to configure facets so you can choose multiple facet values to filter search results using the Allow Multi-Select checkbox on the Facets page of a search category. By default, this option is enabled for all facets except the hierarchical facets. To enable the multi-select option for hierarchical facets, select the Allow Multi-Select checkbox for the search categories that you need. Under each facet, you'll see checkboxes that enable you to select multiple facet values. However, for hierarchical facets, you'll notice that you can choose a single facet value at a time. Search Framework supports selecting multiple facet values only on Fluid User Interface, not on Classic or Classic Plus User Interface. Select Finance and Administration from the Department facet. Notice that as you select a facet value, the search results are refreshed to display the results that match your selection. The selected facet value appears as a breadcrumb. You can remove any of the filters whenever you need to by selecting the X icon on a breadcrumb or by clearing the selected checkboxes. You've now selected Administration from the Department facet, and it means that you've applied multiple facet values. The total number of search results match the count shown in parentheses against the selected facet values. In the hierarchical Job Posted In facet, multi-select is not enabled by default. Enable the multi-select option for the Job Posted In facet by navigating to its Advanced Settings page. Select the Allow Multi-Select checkbox to enable the multiple facet value selection for hierarchical facets. Notice that the Job Posted In facet now displays facet values in the form of a tree with leaf nodes. Now we'll apply multiple hierarchical facet values to see job postings in 2018 and 2017. Select each of the facet values to filter the search results. The screen refreshes to display the matching search results. You've applied multiple facet values from the Job Posted In facet. Notice that as you select each facet value, Green tick marks appear alongside the selected facet value. In the Job Posted In breadcrumb, observe the value in parentheses. It changes to display the number of selected leaf nodes, in this case 4 facet values under 2018 and 2017, indicating that 8 job postings took place in the selected months of these 2 years. In PeopleTools 8.57, PeopleSoft Search Framework provides several new improvements. Search Framework upgrades the search engine to Elasticsearch version 6.1.2. With this upgrade, indices are no longer collated. Each search definition will be an index, and the Ingest Attachment plugin replaces the Mapper Attachment plugin. PeopleTools 8.57 is shipped with a new Elasticsearch DPK, which contains Elasticsearch 6.1.2 and Kibana 6.1.2. It does not contain Puppet-based installers. Instead, it has Python-based, fully automated, silent installers. Search Framework also adds index build metrics to enable customers to use data analysis and visualizations in Kibana. You can install Kibana on the same server where you install Elasticsearch, or you can install it on a different server. Currently, PeopleSoft delivers 3 dashboards in Kibana: Indexing Metrics, Indexing Summary, and System Metrics. Each of these dashboards contain 2 or more visualizations, providing information in a chart or in a tabular format, as shown here. This completes our discussion of Search Framework enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 includes enhancements to the user experience with the Unified Related Content Analytics pane, personalized tile labels, grid enhancements, and accessibility enhancements. PeopleSoft 8.57 brings design improvements to the Related Information and Analytics pane. The Related Information and Analytics display on a single pane for easier navigation, management, and personalization. You can add analytics, and you can personalize Related Information and Analytics from the Personalize Related Information button. The Personalized dialog box lets you choose which related information or analytic you'd like to see. Or you can delete an analytic. It also allows you to display the analytic as a tile instead of a link. You can also click on the pop-up button to display an analytic in a modal window. When you use an Add To link, you can personalize the label for the tile or favorite item. You can personalize the label when you add a tile to your home page, when you add a tile to the nav bar, and when you add a favorite item. With PeopleTools 8.57 grid enhancements, you can configure grids on Fluid pages, enabling users to download grid data to Excel, personalize the grid by saving a sort, and find data in the grid. Use the Download button to download the grid data to Excel. Sort the grid by clicking a column heading. The Sort button turns green to indicate that a user sort is in effect. Unless you save your sort, it is only in effect until you navigate away from the page. When you return to the page, the grid is redisplayed in its default sort order. Use the Sort button to save a sort. You can also use it to sort the grid. Resort the grid in the Sort pop-up menu by clicking any of the listed columns. Then, save your sort. You can also remove a sort once it's been saved. Use the Find button to search for data in any editable grid column. The grid is redisplayed to show the first occurrence of the found data. In PeopleTools 8.57, sectional tabs and accessibility enhancement allow you to create a new type of data display mechanism on Fluid pages. Sectional tabs are embedded within the Fluid page. These tabs control which portion of the page data is currently displayed. Sectional tabs are rendered, styled, and tagged to standards that work with assistive technology. In PeopleTools 8.57, pop-up menus, also an accessibility enhancement, allow you to create a new type of navigational control on fluid pages. Pop-up menus display menu items that perform any action or navigation. These menus are also rendered, styled, and tagged to standards that work with assistive technology. Two existing features, the Actions list and the Homepage selector, have been re-engineered to function as pop-up menus. This completes our discussion of user experience enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 portal technology includes enhancements to the Tile Wizard, branding framework, and the activity guide. Tile Wizard can now use a PeopleSoft query or stored SQL as a data source. Similar to the application class data source, you can select to display one or two key performance indicators, or KPIs, on the tile. In addition, you can elect to display up to 3 live data areas, a trend image, and badge data. The default header fluid, header definition, now includes the company info element. You use company info to create a custom banner that can include your own images, logos, and links. To configure the company info element, you must have these special roles: Secure Branding Administrator, Company Info Administrator, and PeopleTools SVG Administrator. You can configure the company info element for Classic, Fluid, or both. Once configured, the PeopleSoft system displays your custom banner above the system banner. Activity guides include 3 enhancements. First, you can configure context data to display as fixed, up to 3 lines of context data; pop-up, 1 line that launches a pop-up window containing up to 3 lines; or modal, 1 line that launches a modal window containing full page content. Second, you can override the label for the Submit button. Finally, navigational and action buttons are now displayed in the sub-banner, giving them more visibility to users than their previous location in the Fluid banner. Similar to horizontal activity guides, vertical activity guides now display the navigational and action buttons in the sub-banner. This completes our discussion of portal technology enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Notifications includes enhancements to master detail notifications. With PeopleTools 8.57, you can view all of your pending actions in the Action View, a master detail presentation of just your actionable items. In the Action View, you can take action directly on the currently displayed item, or you can browse the list of all your actionable items. First, use the left panel to navigate to the next item. If the target page can't be viewed in the 2-panel layout, you'll see a link enabling you to open the transaction in a new browser tab. This absence request appears in a new browser tab. You can act directly on this request here. Approve the request. After approving the request, close the new tab. Now, use the navigation arrows in the Fluid banner to view the next item in the list. When the target page uses its own 2-panel layout, the system displays the Master Detail left panel as collapsed. You can still view the list by clicking anywhere on the Notifications tab to slide out the left panel. As before, you can select any item in the left panel or use the navigation buttons in the Fluid banner. Anytime the Notifications button is displayed in the Fluid banner, you can also view all of your notifications. When viewing all of your notifications, you can now filter them by priority. Filter to view high-priority items only. Your list of notifications now reflects the currently selected filter. This completes our demonstration of the notifications enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Reporting and Integration includes enhancements to composite query in BI reports, CI to RESTful integration, and the REST patch method. Business Intelligence Publisher, or BIP, now enables Composite Query as a data source type for a BIP report, along with the existing data source types of Query and Connected Query. Composite Query as a BIP data source provides a richly detailed and formatted report output in any of the available BIP-supported file formats. You can create a new BIP data source of type Composite Query and associate it with any composite query that you are authorized to access and run. Similar to other data sources, you can generate a sample data file from the Composite Query data source. Upload this sample data file to build your report template and create a BIP report based on this template. PeopleSoft now enables you to create REST-based web services from an existing component interface, or CI, using the new CI to RESTful integration feature. To create a CI-based RESTful service, go to PeopleSoft Internet Architecture, or PIA, and navigate to PeopleTools, Integration Broker, Web Services, and then select CI-based REST Services. On the Select Component Interfaces page, you can define the criteria for searching for and selecting the CIs. Search by specifying any or all of these fields: Component Interface Name, Component Name, or Owner ID. For example, if you enter QE in the Component Interface Name field, you'll get a list of all CIs with the prefix of QE. When you search for component interfaces to select, the system returns results only for those component interfaces to which you have permissions. From the search results on the Select Component Interfaces page, you can select component interfaces and create services for them. Select one or more CIs and click the Review CI Status button. As soon as you click the Review CI Status button, the integration framework compares the selected component interfaces with the REST services previously created using this component and displays the results on the Review Status page. You can also add selected methods to existing REST services that were previously created using this component. For example, CIRT_QE_absence_history is an existing REST service to which you can add the selected GET method. PeopleSoft now includes a new HTTP method called patch in the Integration Broker REST framework. You can use the REST patch method to update partial resources. For example, you can update only one field in the resource using the patch method. Selecting the Add button will create the patch service operation. The naming convention will add an _patch to the service name. The REST patch method requires both a request and a response message. This completes our discussion of reporting and integration enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Lifecycle Management includes enhancements to reusable searches, the Unified Compare Report, and in-test framework, command line support, improved test recording, and secure folders. PeopleSoft continues to improve the lifecycle management process by providing additional search methods for creating update change packages. In Step 3 of the Update Package Wizard, search options now include standard system search criteria for common use cases, previously defined search criteria for customers to create their own search criteria, and all other search criteria, which is the same as previous releases. The standard system search criteria options include all unapplied updates for installed products, all critical unapplied updates for installed products, all critical updates not applied, all tax updates not applied, all true requisites not applied, and all updates not applied. Choosing the previously defined search criteria option displays all of the available saved package definitions. Change Assistant now includes the Define Change Assistant menu item, enabling you to define a search change package directly in Change Assistant. When you select this option, you can choose to define the change package in PIA or in Change Assistant using a standard or save search. If you select Standard Search, You'll see the same options that are available in PIA. Use the available checkbox to create the change package based on your search selection. When an update change package contains both managed objects, or MO, and data sets, or ADS projects, Change Assistant will create a unified compare report that contains both MO and ADS project compare results. The Change Assistant template contains new steps to define and review the Compare Review report. This report is only available if the target database is on PeopleTools 8.57. The Compare Review Workbench grid displays all the object types in the project. Statistics are displayed for each object type in the unified project, indicating the count based on object type. Non-comparable objects will display a summary count for add, delete, change, same, and messages as 0, since no compare report exists for these object types. Managed objects will display the count for add, delete, change, and same. No messages are displayed for managed objects. Dataset definitions will display the count for add, delete, change, same, and messages. To view the managed object content, click the link for the managed object on the Compare Review Workbench page. The grid is similar to the upgrade view in Application Designer. You can change the action and upgrade columns for each row. Use the Details link to display the details. To view the dataset content, click the link for the dataset on the Compare Review Workbench page. The grid is similar to the Compare report displayed in the Data Migration Workbench. You can change the action and upgrade columns for each row. Use the Details link to display the details. The PeopleSoft Test Framework command line interface now includes support to import, export, and generate execution option properties. That means you can take command line execution scripts and use them to execute multiple environments. First, create a response file.txt. A response file is a secured way to pass parameters to the command line. The response file lists all parameters required for generating or migrating execution options. Specify the value for export, import, generate, or run a test for the action parameter. Now call this response file from the command line during runtime. PTF adds 2 new scroll actions to the PTF test recorder. Select Set Scroll Definition from the Scroll Action dropdown. Drag and drop the target icon on the component page to define the scroll button or the parent grid. Scroll Reset deletes all rows with the specified scroll ID. PeopleSoft Test Framework now restricts access to folders to prevent users from updating, adding, deleting, and executing tests unless they are authorized. Users who are granted permissions on test folders can perform actions like add, modify, or delete. A PeopleSoft administrator defines new roles and grants permissions to these roles from the Test Folder Permissions Manager. You can find the Test Folder Permissions Manager in the PTF Tools menu. Only PTF administrators have access to the folder permissions. Test Folder Permissions Manager also allows you to include or exclude test folders. You can also copy permissions from an existing role to another role. This completes our discussion of Lifecycle Management enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Security includes enhancements to stronger encryption, data privacy masking, and access control for files on the web server. PeopleSoft now uses AES encryption technology instead of triple DES encryption. AES is a robust industry standard encryption technology for securely encrypting data. The PeopleSoft Data Privacy Masking feature allows you to mask a defined number of characters using PeopleCode API. The method setDisplayMask is used to replace each character of the displayed field text value with the chosen mask character. and enables you to choose the number of trailing characters to remain unmasked. PeopleTools 8.57 supports creating access control for files on the web server. Now, you can create dynamic access control to any parent folder and files under a system-defined storage root folder on your web server. In Application Designer, extend the PeopleTools delivered base class. Then, implement the authorize method to determine whether a user is authorized to access a parent folder under the storage root. Finally, on the Storage Group Management page, create a storage group that associates your PeopleCode implementation to this parent folder on the web server. This completes our discussion of security enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Application Designer includes enhancements to event mapping references, the property window, and fluid page preview. In PeopleTools 8.57, the PeopleCode Editor provides an event mapping button in the Dynamic Application Designer toolbar. For an application developer, it's a visual indicator of custom PeopleCode programs mapped to events of a component, component page, component record, or component record field, and is enabled when the PeopleCode is being viewed for one of these events. When you select the Event Mapping button, the Fine Definition References tab of the Output window lists the events that are mapped to custom PeopleCode programs, along with the application class. Right-click the application class in the Fine Definition References tab and select the Event Mapping References option from the pop-up menu. Notice that the Event Mapping References tab in the Output window lists references to other components where the custom PeopleCode programs of the selected application class are used. Use the Property window to view and update page field properties. You can use the Property window in lieu of or in addition to using the Page Field Properties dialog box. You can hide and view the Property window, dock and undock it, and disable and re-enable it. Similar to a Properties dialog box, you can update values directly in the Property window. You can now use the View in Browser feature to preview fluid pages, enabling you to quickly ascertain the relative positioning of page controls at design time. This enhancement also allows you to preview Classic pages as Classic Plus. With Fluid Page Preview, you have the option to view related content drop zones and apply additional page-specific style sheets. This completes our discussion of Application Designer enhancements. PeopleTools 8.57 Installation and Packaging includes enhancements to minimizing the use of root access for Linux, AIX, HPUX, and Solaris, and DPK support. Some components within PeopleTools require root access for installation. Obtaining and coordinating the use of this elevated access through the installation process has been problematic for many customers. PeopleTools 8.57 introduces a prerequisite step in the DPK install process for Linux, AIX, HPUX, and Solaris platforms. This prerequisite is a collection of installation steps that require root access and should be executed by a root user prior to the normal bootstrap step. The bootstrap step may now be executed by non-root users. DPK support has been added for HPUX. HPUX joins AIX, Linux, Windows, and Solaris as a supported DPK operating system platform. DPKs now replace the VCD, so you'll use DPKs to install, upgrade, or patch PeopleTools 8.57. The Puppet and Python software provided with the DPKs has been upgraded to Puppet 5.3.5 and Python 3.6.2 to take advantage of the latest security and bug fixes. This completes our discussion of installation and packaging enhancements. We've only shown you the highlights of the features in the PeopleTools 8.57 release. For more information about these features and the other enhancements, see the CFO tool, the new feature overview on My Oracle Support, and go to the PeopleSoft information portal for updates.